It's now time to raise the roof for our next speaker, the wonderful, magnificent Mr. Garwood!
I brought Professor Guildford with me today, and we aren't allowed to do slideshows, so I'm afraid I've gone back to the basics. Here we go. Okay, are you designing, building, or maintaining your business? In my work life, I've got three kind of core chapters. At 25, I rowed across the Indian Ocean from Australia to Mauritius. It's a 4,500 mile crossing, and we spent 102 days at sea. Lots of death-defying parts to that as well for another talk. But we did break 2 world records reaching Mauritius after 102 days. Now, the purpose for me on that kind of mission was I wanted to do something that had never been achieved before. I wanted to create a legacy at a young age. I then moved to London at 26, and I set up the charity, which is also a social enterprise, called Streetscape. Now, Streetscape provided apprenticeships. Am I talking loud enough for the back? Good. I'll try. Cool. I've got a bit of man flu, so I'm trying to hold my throat off a bit. 18 to 25-year-olds who are long-term unemployed. We provided apprenticeships to them over a year, and the idea was to get them into employment at the end of that year in the horticultural industry. So the purpose for my mission at Streetscape was all about helping young people into employment, and it not just being a business, but it having this incredibly strong social goal attached to it. By 30, I moved down from London to start working at Architectural Plants. So Architectural Plants is based in Pulborough. It's a 32-acre site. We specialise in plants and trees, most of which we grow on site there. We have our own in-house apprenticeship scheme, thank you for mentioning it. And the idea of that for me was that my purpose for Architectural Plants was I felt it was time for me to try and be an entrepreneur in a real business setting. So that was my 30s. Right, in each of those 3 chapters of my life, and because of this talk, I tried to think about some sort of common themes. And these are 3 phases that I think I've been through in each of those chapters of my life. The design phase here is shown by a lamp. So from a marketing perspective, we're looking at the image. Thank you, Jason.
I am the lamp. I am the marketing.
Okay. Under build, you're turning your lamp into a laser. Trying to. Thank you, Jason.
I'm the laser. I'm the marketing laser.
All right. And then under maintain, I'm seeing this as a lighthouse with your laser spinning 360 degrees. Thank you. Very good. Please, I brought you. Thank you very much. All right, so let's dig in now to design. Jace, can we turn that over? Yep. Thank you. We're going to look at each of these 3 phases. Design. I see this as really setting the foundations at the beginning of your business. It might be a project you're working on, might be a charity. It's basically setting those beginning foundations. What we're trying to do here is light that lamp up. You're in the dark and we're trying to light it up. And the lighter that gets, the more people that your brand, your business, or you individually are reaching. So, within design, there are 3 steps. The first one for me is be bold, have a very clear vision and very clear goals. Okay, so for me, when I say that, I'm talking about looking at what you want to achieve through it. So for me, it was really important. I love what I call impossible missions. So almost every one of my chapters is about impossible missions. What does that mean? Impossible missions to me is when someone says, you definitely can't do that, guy. And I love proving people wrong. So that drives me, and that's what I bring into the vision at the beginning of any project. I also am really passionate about loving every single day of your life. So I must put that into everything I do. So at this stage here, I want you to think about whatever you're doing, whatever project you're on with a business. It might be a part of your business if you're way beyond this. I promise you, getting that vision at the beginning is really, really key. Step 2, be brave, test and adapt. So I suppose I'm talking here a bit about sales pitching. So today we've got lots of opportunities all to meet and have a coffee. Rather than sitting down, get out there and talk to people. And I want you to test and adapt something. So this is really important. People call it the elevator pitch. For me, I find that phrase, it feels a bit sort of like you're stuck in a room. I'm talking here about living and breathing your message. Everywhere you go, you're in a taxi somewhere, have a chat, tell him about what you're doing, tell him or her what you're doing. Talk to friends, talk to family, practice. And if it doesn't work, if you get feedback or you think, that's not quite, let's tweak the message. And that's really important. I know there's a little bracket here saying be careful who you listen to as well, but you get the point. Listen to good advice. 3, don't ignore the numbers. So my family are all accountants, and I went to university and studied accounting and finance. So I love to dig into the numbers, and for me that's really important. And I think a lot of people start projects, businesses, and don't do that. So what do I mean? You don't need to meet your accountant once a year. You do need to do that, but it's almost useless. I'm saying here, on a weekly basis, have a spreadsheet that you feel comfortable with. Perhaps start off with sales and costs. Ignore everything else and just put a few lines in each of those sections. For me, I'm quite comfortable with spreadsheets, but if you're not, get someone to help you. And it starts to get you to think about profit. I know there's loads of other costs associated with things, but I'm saying here the basics, and start being comfortable with the profit and loss, basic version. Okay, they're the 3 versions. Thank you very much.
Funnel.
Sales funnel. Look, I've not ever had any training on this, and so I apologise if I'm ruining the sales funnel that someone's been taught, but this is how I perceive it. So at the design phase, top section here, I always think is your marketing. It's the sort of stuff that happens before they hit your business. This is customers, or it might be donors in a charity. You get the idea. This section of the funnel is where they've fallen into your funnel, and then it's the activity of your business. So activity. And at the bottom, in this example, we're getting a small drip feed of a customer actually signing off, paying for a bill, whatever it is. Really important, because lots of people, the first 3 split talks, actually this came up quite a lot. And what we're seeing here is right at the beginning of your journey, there's a lot of activity. So much activity. You're in the taxi, aren't you, talking to someone about your pitch, getting a clear vision, and then what happens during the activity is you realise you're probably speaking to some of the wrong people. You're not quite right, which means there's quite a big curve here. Cool, should we head over? No, we shouldn't. I've got one more thing to say, sorry. Just a quick case study, I'm going to do that on each section. So, architecture plants, set up in 1989, founded by a chap called Angus White, based in just outside of Horsham. From the moment it started, there has been no nursery like it. The press jumped on it, national press almost instantly with very little effort, it just happened. Customers flying in, sales booming. The first 10 years were incredible for architectural plants. The problem is that lots and lots of people started competing with us or with the business. And nationally, we basically were drowning. When I took back the business 10 years ago, it felt to me as though they'd become complacent because of the success. The team were quite dysfunctional. They were not aware of where the business needed to go, so therefore they had no goals. And basically, when I took the business over 10 years ago, I realised I had to take this 30-year-old business back to the design phase. So please don't think today that if you've gone beyond this, you don't need to go back there, because I go there all the time. This is that really exciting phase where you're developing the business. It's a very small business mentality. So I asked Angus to go away for 2 days and think about why he set the business up. And this is what he came up with. You can't read it, don't worry, I'll explain a few things. But this is really important. So in the example of me taking over a founder-led business, I asked him to think about what his clear vision was at the beginning and what was important to him and what made them a successful business. So there's a few things. There's loads on here, but the one I really like is for staff, never stop asking the question, would I buy it? Second one, linked to this. If the answer to the above question is no, do something about it. These 10 commandments, which are actually not 10, they're 15, but don't worry. We don't hide this. This is in the nursery. It is above the potting benches. It's in the staff room. This is part of their staff training. This is everywhere. And most importantly, the customers see it too. And our customers, by reading this, recognise what we value as a business. And it's an incredibly powerful tool. So we did that. The second thing I did when I went back to Architecture Plants is I wanted to disrupt it. I wanted to pretend that I was a small business again. So we ran a cafe. We started doing events. We have weddings there. We started selling pots. Who would believe it? He didn't sell pots. He hated pots. But it was really important because it was a great secondary sale. So essentially, we just started disrupting the market. As an existing business, we went into this phase. Lovely. Thank you, Jason. I'm going to have a drink. 2 seconds. Okay. We've now made it to build. All right. So when I say build, you're taking that lamp that we saw earlier and you're spinning it and you're turning it into a laser. Again, got it. This is where we want you to target the right customers. And really, again, importantly, we want you to attract the right team members to join you on your mission. Really important. So we've got three more little learnings here. So fine tune your audience is number one. It's a big one here, sorry. So lots of different ways you can do it, loads of advice already on this, but I come at it from a sort of sales perspective because that's my main background. So I introduced Architecture Plants a sales qualifier. The one I've always used ever since I started working, the acronym is MANU, M-A-N-U. M is for money, so budget. It's really important that we start to understand our customers and what their budgets are, and maybe what they want to spend, so we don't waste their time or ours. Manu. A, authority. Authority is about making sure that we fine-tune our message to the right audience, and that when we then engage them, the activity bit I said, that we are making sure that we have the right people there. So in our example, we do a lot of garden design. It's a very personal thing, designing someone's garden. And so when they come to the nursery, we always insist we get both parties there. It makes the decision process much easier for us. Need. You want to make sure that they want a garden that's beautiful, big leafed, tropical, topiary. We don't want people to come in who want an English country garden because we don't do that. So need is very important. Urgency. If you have got this insane marketing machine and you're filling your diary, filling the sales leads coming in, fly, but you can't deliver on it, that is unbelievably damaging. So urgency, I think, is fairly important. And again, I'm talking here about sales qualifying, right? But your sales and marketing function need to be like this. They need to be together talking the whole time. Okay, I did warn you it was a long one. Triage. The other thing we do, when people come to our business, we have a process where we have a call with them, and we use the doctor's thing, triaging. And we want to make sure that our customers are speaking with the right staff member. And that matching is really important as you scale up, in my opinion. Cool. I said under here about attracting a fantastic team to help you on your mission. We often, again, think about marketing as just getting customers in. But from my experience, drawing the most amazing team, which we now have, is all about getting your marketing right. They want to be part of your journey with you. So that's really important too. And last year, with Dee's help, we started offering press lunches where we invited certain people from the media to come down. We gave them a lovely lunch. I gave them a tour. So you're also under this fine tune. You're thinking about ways to attract press coverage or PR. And that's really important. On one of the lunches, we had 2 very big influencers came, and it was absolutely a waste of time because their audience was not our audience. So that just, important. Fine tune your audience. Okay, step 2, be brave. Now you've probably heard this loads of times before and you're sick of people saying it, but I definitely at build phase got to the point where I realised when to say no to things. That is, remember what I said earlier, it's very hard for me to say no to anything. So critical, got to learn that. That's all about being laser focused on your target audience, making sure you know when to say no to them. So again, this is not really marketing, but it does end up being a marketing thing. The story here is, I don't know how much you know about gardens, but Buxus sempervirens, which is, the common name is box, which is like clip balls and topiary and stuff. 10 years ago, when I took over the business, box, caterpillar and this disease basically was starting to wipe out box. Yes. Okay, if you've had it, sorry. Anyway, within 3 months of being back at the business, we had a phone call from a customer and it had decimated the garden, £3,500 worth of box. Now this is environmental, it's not to do with our business, but obviously we didn't want them to have a garden that was decimated, so we swallowed it in and replaced the plants, okay? From the next day, I said, no more, we're not selling box ever again. This is 10 years ago. You can buy box still everywhere around here in garden centres because I felt it was very important to protect our longer term reputation, and I wanted us to realise that we should not be doing that. It's awful, basically, and it will get worse because it's environmental, it spreads. Okay, so I took this part of our business from build back to design. I spoke to my growers, my propagators, and said, we have got to work out a way to have an alternative to box. Just go and do it. Let's test and adapt. So they went off and they found 4 or 5 plants that we think are really excellent box alternatives. This is now, as I said, like 8 years ago. 2 years ago, we went to Chelsea and we took these box alternatives that they'd been working on, and we had so much press coverage because we were leading thinking on that and ahead of the time. So again, didn't start off as a marketing thing, but it definitely ended up being one. Okay, 3, say no to selling box. To selling box. Challenging me on it. That's what it's like, I have to. Okay, 3. Okay, obsess over the numbers. So I said, and we're at the beginning, don't get too bogged down, create a nice spreadsheet. Now I want you to obsess over the financials. Look at every little part of your business. It might be a small thing, you might just be a project on the side. And you think, I really want to do it. If it doesn't make profit, or it doesn't give you unbelievable amounts of press and good marketing, can it? It's unbelievably important. Sorry if you used to come to our cafe, but COVID hit our business and we had to run it with 5 people. It was very difficult. And we realised I wanted to spend like a day basically looking at all of those things I mentioned earlier that I introduced to the business. I ran P&Ls for all of these different areas, and the cafe closed within 24 hours of me doing that. Because it made profit, but it took my focus and my team's focus away from much more profitable areas. Okay? It's not all about profit, I'm not trying to say that, but it's pretty important. Okay, before I do that, case study again. Okay, so 2 or 3 years ago, we had a phone call. Sophie in the office took a phone call from Windsor Castle. Really excited. 24 hours later, we whizzed up in the Landy, and we got to Windsor Castle. It's the back area, which is called East Terrace, and it's basically where the King looks out. It's an amazing place. And they wanted to do this big overhaul. So they asked us to go along because they had about 30 trees and plants that were 250 years old. and they're topiary taxus, and they needed to be reshaped into something. The reason I'm telling you that story is because obviously that was very exciting. We then soon found out that we definitely were not the only people quoting. Energy levels dropped a bit. But on the way back, I just had this absolute, I can't explain it, I just had this absolutely incredible feeling manifesting again of that I really wanted to deliver something really special to them. We were told just to send a quote on an email, and that was it. But Jason and I designed, in fact, Jason did a fantastic job. You can't see it until you grab it, but in here, embossed, is a Pittosporum Tabira from our nursery. Jason took it, drew it, and then we had it printed and handmade. It's got silver, lots of lovely things in, and it's all been done and handmade. We spent £5,000. We should have just sent an email. We spent... No, we shouldn't. We spent £5,000 and we had 3 handmade and hand delivered to the King. He read it with the 2 guys, and obviously it's a much more special thing than receiving an email. So a year later, after that took a long time, I was quite upset because I thought we've wasted £5,000. A year later, the phone call came in, and about 7 of my guys spent a week and a half, and we've clipped all of the trees there. And as I said, they're 250 years old. It's a legacy project for us. So yeah. Okay. Manifesting. Oh, sorry. I paused for 2 seconds. Thank you. Got to work on that. Yeah. So that's that manifesting success, and for me, that is insanely important. It's really having that vision. Okay, other sort of, while I'm on that bit, I just want to talk about cohesive marketing. So our catalogue has always been like this. Angus was fantastic at design, amazing man, and this catalogue was always this shape, really ahead of its time. But when I took over, Jason and I wanted to celebrate the maker. So we make plants, we see ourselves as makers, a lot of bespoke, all our buildings are handmade on site. On our catalogue, we asked a chap called Al Turner. This was over COVID, where the theatre world was out of work. He designs theatre sets and models, amazing bloke. But he also loves lino prints. So he designed us 4 versions of this. This is number 22, it's the 22nd catalogue, and he did them around our nursery. And then we include that in here. And we also updated everything with all of the new elements of the business we've done. So really important bit of marketing, that. Cool. Sales funnel. Right, you'll notice it's looking a little different at this stage. So you're having, your marketing's all going on, probably doing a lot more, but your activity has meant that by the bottom, you're getting a lot more customers out the bottom. So customers coming out here, much bigger. Activity, a little bit less. You know, having to work less hard because you're doing things efficiently. Okay, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
5 minutes, wow, oh God, okay, thank you. Fly through it, right. Maintain. This is a hard place to get to, and I do not think any business stays here very long. I'm not even sure if we're going to be there for very long, but at the moment I feel like we are. So, once you've got your laser focus, you imagine this being a spinning laser, 360 degrees, no one's pushing it, lighthouse, sorry, with the laser in there spinning around. And the idea is that you become a beacon to attract people from all angles. 3 sections. Build it and they will become a beacon. We started saying more bold statements. We are a site of horticultural excellence. Really important. And we focused heavily on our customer service and the experience they got when they came to us. So when I mentioned about closing the cafe, this gave me the energy and time to dedicate to the customer experience. Really important. Build it and they will become a beacon. Step 2, listen to feedback with defences down and react fast. Okay, I love undercover boss. That's my thing. So I go and plant with the team and I put my shorts on, t-shirt on, and I just jump out of the van. No one knows who I am. And I listen to the customer interaction. I work with my team. I see when tools aren't working. My favourite bit about this feedback part is I go to the till when customers are just about to put their plants in their trolley, and I offer to take them to the car for them. And as I'm walking to the car, again, they don't know who I am, I ask them a few questions. I learn more in that 1 minute than I learn from anywhere. And the best bit is, quite a lot of them tip me too. So, getting paid for feedback, perfect. So, okay, again, listen to the right people. Sometimes people are just being difficult. Sometimes you get incredible feedback. Person came in, Newgate's, very metal. They said it felt like arriving at a prison, which it did, actually, for that moment. And as soon as they said it, light bulb went off. 2 hours later, the whole thing had been planted. I reacted very fast. Okay? Step 3, analyse the right data. We're moving on from finances here. I talked about numbers. I'm now on data. This is everything. You need to have a one-pager that tells you everything that's going on in your business through core KPIs, key performance indicators. I've now got that, and it's the best thing ever because I can see where the business is doing well and not. Leads directly into marketing because we can increase things or decrease things. Really, really important. Very hard to get that. So whilst you're not at that stage, if you're not, then just think all the time about how you can future-proof that. Collect data early on, really important. Couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Okay. Just under the last one, under the case study. Last year, again, B support at this point, we created a press pack. Really, really important. We've never done it before. And we used it before the Chelsea Flower Show to send off. And the BBC, as a result of seeing that, this had all of that stuff on there about our marketing, about the message, about Changing Voice in this press pack. And the BBC went, we're going to come down to your nursery. And we thought it might be 30 seconds a minute. It was 9 minutes during prime time. That is what I mean by being a beacon, because basically it just led people to us. And of course, thank you very much for saying, the biggest privilege was having the King visit our stand. The coolest thing was he was walking along, and just by seeing our signage, not our name, our signs, the way it branded, and our plants, he knew it was Architecture Plants who we'd worked with him. And that was, to me, like the pinnacle. Okay, sales funnel, last bit, thank you very much, sorry. Here, funnel, similar thing, but now it's almost opened out. We're now generating more customers with less activity. Really important. I hope we stay there for a little bit. Thank you very much.